Hi, everyone. This is Colleen Meyer, and welcome to a brand new take with Michelle Petties. Michelle is a speaker, a food story finder, and the author of the Amazon's best-selling book, Living Large, The Stories of a Food Finder. Michelle, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Colleen Meyer, as always, for that wonderful introduction. You are extraordinary producer, extraordinary moderator. Kiss, kiss, kisses to you. And kiss, kiss, kisses to my co-host. Kiss, kiss, kisses to my co-host, Terry Riley. We're in the cabbie closet. We're in the cabbie closet because we stay focused on results. We stay focused on how we're gonna get in that little black dress or those jeans or those whatever it is we're trying to fit into. Which is why we are so thankful and so glad that Kenneth Clemons is on with us tonight. He is a personal trainer out of Baltimore, right? His coaching business is Intellectual Strength. I love the name of that because it is so aligned with the fact that in order for us to do things in the physical realm, we got to make the mental shifts to get there.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna jump into a conversation with Kenneth in just a second. We're just gonna do a little housekeeping as we always do. It's 7:00. It's Sunday night. It's a brand new take where we tell the truth about why we eat what we eat. We tell the truth. We pull the layers back. And if you do not follow us on Facebook, please do so. I am brand new now. If you're just happening upon this broadcast and you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do so. I am brand new now. And also, if you will, please follow me on Instagram, and I am brand new now at Instagram, so you can just see what's happening on a day-to-day basis. See how it shows up when you make the choice, when you're intentional about looking better and feeling better and showing up, showing up like you want to show up. So we're in the cabbie closet. We're in the cabbie closet, like I said, with the stylist, Terry Riley, stylist extraordinaire, because, for me, my motivation for finally getting a handle on my weight and being able to keep it off is I really just wanted to wear cuter clothes, right? and at first I used to think that it was shallow, right? But now, it's really about who we are. The clothes and the things, how we look on the outside is really a manifestation of what's happening on the inside. Absolutely. And when we get to work on the inside, then our outside will follow, which is why I think it's going to be so powerful for us to have the conversation with Ken tonight and hear about his philosophy and hear about his results and hear about what he does. And Ken, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And I just want to jump in and ask you this question: What makes you different? What makes you different from every other wellness personal coach that might be out there?
First of all, thank you for having me. And the only thing that makes me different is that I care. I truly care, and I truly want to understand what's going on up here. That is what I think separates me from most. That's what made me go back and get a degree in family studies and human development, so I can understand human behavior in general, and then I was able to tie it to health and fitness.
Oh man, I love that understanding human behavior in general is so key. And that was part of my own story, because I could never figure out. It was always such a battle, and I always struggle with. I would lose the weight and gain it back, lose the weight and gain it back, and it wasn't until I got really clear and Ken really fundamentally changed what I believed about food and got some clarity that food was just for nutrition and nourishment and energy. That's it. That is the only problem that food will solve is hunger. It's not an activity, right? It's not, it can taste good, but the purpose of it is not pleasure. It is not entertainment. We need to get all of that from other things. And once we figure out how to get our needs met, get our real needs met in the places that will meet those needs, then we can use food in its proper fashion. But
absolutely.
But being shored up physically is so important to that, because it takes both. You just can't.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you can, but you got to move, right? You got to
Yes,
move.
ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's kind of like talk us through how you work with your clients, like from you start with this and then you go to this.
Okay, so first we do a health assessment. I find out their why. I find out if they're allergic to anything, and then we go over a series of habits. Okay, and then we each habit we go over. We talk a little bit about, but then I go through them how the program that I coach is able to help focus on those habits one at a time, so it's not overwhelming. And with the program, it comes with community support, so they're not alone. So they don't just have to hear it from me, but we have other people in virtual that we can model that behavior for them, because we're all different. But there's enough people in our organization that can model the behavior that they need to have to live a healthy lifestyle. So that's one of it. And then the most important one to me that I love is the education component. So the education component is there to change any stinking thinking that they have around health and wellness.
What was
And
that?
then
What was that you said? You got to go. You can't just slide that in there. You got to go back to that.
I said the education component is there to change any stinking thinking that you have around health and wellness.
Let's talk about that stinking thinking. Right.
Okay. So the stinking thinking is like, you know what? I'm gonna have this burger, French fries, and something to drink, but I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow and burn it off. Like, we have to think about that a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna do good Monday through Friday, but I'm gonna do whatever I want on the weekends, and I'll be fine. I'll just go to the gym and burn it off. Or they chalk it up to their age, the hormones, the metabolism slowing down, which may all be true. Then you just have to know what foods you can have and what you can't have, and how much you can have of certain items based on your goal. And what makes that conflicting is, if you lose 20 pounds and she lose 20 pounds and he lose 20 pounds, but they all have different goals, they may do a lot of similar things that could work overall, but then it changes once you get down to the last 5 and 10 pounds based on their goals. So what we do is we just try to simplify it and just get you crystal clear on your goal and stay focused with your plan. Okay, don't get distracted looking everywhere else. And that's kind of how health coaching is able to help all our clients get to that goal, because we get rid of all those distractions. And there's a lot of information that is out there, but let's stick to the information that we know that works for this plan. Okay, and that's where a lot of the ups and downs go with weight loss. Not saying that any one thing is bad or any one program is bad, because that's not the case. It's just that people get frustrated, okay? And then they pick the easier parts of different programs and try to come up with their own, and it doesn't work that way. Plans and diets, per se, whatever you want to call it, we'll say plans for the argument's sake of the conversation. Like, someone down the line did a scientific study and say, hey, if you do bump, 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 this will work. Okay, you can't pick and choose what you want to do out of that bump, bump, bump. So that's why it's very important to be educated, and also have a coach that's educated in the same goal that you're doing and has been there to help steer you along the way to clear up some of the misinformation that they may not understand or misinterpret.
Oh man,
that makes sense.
Oh man, it does. I love what you said about having goals. And one of the things that is like super important to me in my coaching and talking to clients is about motivation. And it's like you said, it's different for it's different for everyone. But I have a magic formula. My formula is O plus O equals M, and that is outfit plus occasion equals motivation, which is why we're in the closet. Yeah. And one of the reasons I say that, because that was personal for me, but is that we are visual people, right?
Correct.
And if we can have a vision, and I do a lot of work with vision boards of what of what our results look like, of the outcome that we want, then that is one way to stay focused. Is that, and because if you stay focused on, and you can
Yeah,
support
absolutely. I,
me in this or not,
I understand.
that our choice, I don't even necessarily think our choice is what I'm going to eat. The choice isn't really hamburgers or French fries. The choice isn't even how many crunches or
Okay.
weight things I'm going to
Right.
do. The choice is, how do I want to look? How do I want to feel? What's my outcome? What
That's
do I
right.
want my body to be like? What do I want
That's
my
right.
health to be like? That's the choice.
That's the
And
choice.
if that's the choice, then you
Yes.
make those decisions around food
Yes.
and movement
Yes.
based on that choice. That's what the
That's
choice is.
correct. That is
You
correct.
know?
Oh my goodness, you hit the nail in the coffin, and because food is one of the most abused drugs out there. Okay, the minute you call food a drug or compare it to alcohol or compare it to a heroin or anything, that it's people get so upset, and it's like it's okay. The behaviors are the same.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
all I'm saying. The behaviors, just because it's socially acceptable does not mean it's okay to stuff your face until you full.
Yes.
It,
Yes. Oh,
it just and
yes.
just and what it does, it satisfies the taste buds in the brain. But as the body is processing those foods that's high in fructose corn syrup, white refined bread, things of that nature, pasta. We know what the list is. That's the thing.
Mhm.
None of us have to sit up here and talk about things we should not eat.
Yeah, we
Everyone
know.
knows
Right.
it.
Right. Yeah, we know.
Okay, but we will justify it. We will come up with every excuse in the book why, or it's one time, or it's live a little. You know how many times people who have lost weight and gained it back up have tried it one time or just lived a little to the point where now that 20, 15 pounds, 40 pounds have crept back over a year because you're gaining 1 or 2 pounds. And it's not fair. Okay, but I mean it's not fair because food is nourishment, food is comfort. Families grew up off showing love and affection with food. Okay, because Big Mama always wanted to see her baby smile when you got that pie, right?
Right.
And that's okay. Some of it is culturally, some of it is just sign of love. It doesn't mean that the body is not going to process it the same way. I don't care if it's made with love or not. And be right,
Oh man,
right,
we are here. We are here. We are here. And that, that what you're talking about is exactly what I talk about in my book, Leaving Larger Stories of a Food Addict. You
right.
know, and that comes up all the time, is that eating for reasons that don't have anything to do with nourishment and nutrition.
That's
And
that's
and
correct.
part of my story was this, is that I ate for so many years, for decades, for reasons that didn't have anything to do with nourishment and nutrition, that I had to train myself to understand and recognize when I was really hungry, because I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know what it felt like, because I spent so much time eating out of frustration, or eating out of fear, or eating out of loneliness, or eating just for pleasure, eating because of an activity, eating because somebody said, let's go out to eat. Okay. Right.
Right. I
Right.
take it a step further. I knew better and still did it,
Ah,
thinking, oh, I'll get it next week. Oh,
yeah.
I ain't worried about it. I'll start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I'm young. My blood pressure crept up at the age of 36 so high that the doctor was like, I'm gonna put you on medication right now today. This is ridiculous. Excuse me. And I kind of got upset with him because I knew that my blood pressure was slowly rising because I know the way I was living. That's the thing. I knew the way I was living was going to one day catch up to me. But when it did, it frightened me because I didn't think it was going to catch up at 36.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right then and there, I stopped drinking. I haven't drank in 4 years. And then I literally changed the way I looked at food to the point where I went to my mom, who was on high blood pressure medication. And I call her Denise. I love my mother. She is everything. She invested too much of her energy, time, and money to educate me for not to turn around and give back. So when I said, Ma is not, it runs in our family. The habits run in our family that cause us to gain weight, that cause us to have high
Yes.
blood pressure, that cause us to be, pre-diabetic. Not saying we aren't predisposed to it. Well, that makes you even have to be even more cautious.
Yes.
But
Yes.
because of, everything we just mentioned before, the habits and nourishment and comfort,
Mhm.
my mom didn't understand. I said, no, time out, Denise, this ain't happening. I threw everything out of the refrigerator. I got her on the program. I stayed with her. I taught her how to weigh and measure her food out and how to substitute uh, alternatives to the things she used to make. And now she got it down to where she's 40 pounds lighter. Doctor took her off of all her medication, and she's 64 years old. So she didn't do this in her 40s or 30s. She did it at 63 and 64. That's when she hit her milestone of the 40 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So to change those patterns over the years, granted it was my mom, but being a health coach, it gave me the resources to change anyone if they want it.
Yes. Yeah.
If they want it, I can't do it for you.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't want it more than you. I can provide you with all the resources, information, support that you may need. But if you don't reach out and say, Kenny, I need help, there's nothing I can do. Kind of like fake
Oh,
help.
man. No, I love that. And I especially love the story about your mom, because I was 60. I was 60 when I figured it out. And what I also love is what you talk about is what we believe about food, is that we have to, this thing is about an excavation, right? We have to fundamentally change what we believe about food. And that, there is so much that is wrapped up in culture and lifestyle and all that, but that's all it is. All of that we can unpack and unwrap that if we're ready, but we have to release it. But I don't know about you, but Ken, what I find is that people have a hard time releasing it because they can't always understand what they're going to get once they release it. And
that is true.
and my
Most
and my
people,
job and what I call myself is, I call myself an imagination coach. Is that when you create and know what you're gonna get, right? When you already know what you're gonna get, because just think about it, right? If And I hear it all the time. Oh, the doctor says I gotta go on a diet, right? Like right in your face, in those words, it's like this resistance. I gotta go on a diet. Well, why wouldn't you be happy about going on a diet if it's gonna save your life, if it's gonna make your lifestyle better, if you're gonna look better, if you're gonna feel better? I mean, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm going on a diet so I can get this thing. But
the unknown is scary.
people don't have a clear vision of what this thing is going to be,
Yeah, because the unknown is very frightening, scary.
Yeah.
And I try not to preach when I talk about it, but it's like going on a
Preach,
diet
brother,
is
preach.
going on a diet is very close to, believing in something in the higher power, right? First of all, you like, I'm getting ready you get ready to tell me what? I ain't never. It's kind of the same way when Jesus and God talking, like, he did what? He walked on water. Like, you tripping. Anybody walk on water, right? So when I use that analogy, it's like, you want me to believe in something I've never seen anyone in my family do.
Right.
Okay. You did it. Yeah, that's you, but you don't know where I come from, right? That's across the board. Okay. And then it's, maybe I can do it, but what are my friends and family going to think about me?
Yes.
Okay. What are they going to think about me? I mean, I've been living this lifestyle for a very long time. And every now and then they make fun of me because I bring my own food to Thanksgiving dinner. But one thing you never hear me complain about is my weight or my health. And everyone at the table, everyone was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have ate that because they get sick. They don't feel good. They're getting sleepy because it's their body being overworked trying to produce it. So, but that's normal. So now they're like, I'm gonna miss this, I'm gonna miss that. So that word diet it's rough. So we
Yeah.
have to change the word, right? And say a lifestyle shift where you still can have those foods, but I'm going to teach you need to eat like this more often. So when you do have these foods, it won't bother you. And we call that stop, challenge, and choose. You need to stop why you want to eat this. Challenge it. Don't just mindfully eat it. okay? Because then that pounds are mindfully come on. But if you're mindful that you're eating cake and ice cream, then you know when that scale goes up and down, it's just the cake and ice cream, and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm getting fat. I don't know what to do, right? So you have to have a plan, and again, that now you believe in it. Now you got to believe. All right, I think I can do this. God, you got me. You know, they always talk about you got somebody, but I ain't never really seen nobody do it. But you know, I'm gonna trust you, right?
Right.
I'm gonna
Right.
trust you, and long as you trust the program, you trust the process, and most of all, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine yourself 40 pounds lighter, not taking medication. Like, how will you show up? Who's
Yeah.
depending on you? Who else can you save in your family?
Right.
Someone has to do it. And that's what I'm saying. You have to want to change because someone is dependent on you. It just can't be for you. It has to be a very large picture for you or a health scare. So that
Yeah.
ties into the motivation. Okay,
Yes.
that's what I was
Yes.
asking about, the motivation.
Yes. Yeah. You got it. You I think you hit the nail on the head. You've got to have a reason to change that is bigger than you, right?
Yes.
That's important to you, that's compelling to you, and stay focused on that. Whenever I talk to people about this, about this change, exactly what you were talking about, Ken, I talk about babies. And I talk about babies because I first of all, I used to be a baby, first of all, but second of all, I don't have any children, but I've watched babies, right? And when you watch them and they're crawling, I think you've heard me talk about this. They're crawling, and they're looking around and they're seeing the walking people, right? They see the walking people that have freedom, that are going and doing whatever they want to. And all they see is the walking people, right?
That's
And
right.
when they start to try to walk, they're not thinking about crawling. And when they get up and they're trying to walk, even when they fall, right? Even when they fall, the first time they fall, they might cry because they're a little surprised. Oh no, I fell. But then they get back up and they start walking again, and then they may fall again. But if you ever notice them, watch them, when they fall again, they might even laugh, and they'll get back up. And it never occurs to them.
Yep.
It never occurs to them that they're not going to walk. It
And
never occurs to them that I'm not going to do this thing. And once
so,
they walk, they never go back to crawling because they have fundamentally changed
right.
what you believe
That's
about
right.
themselves and how they move in this world.
That's right. So as babies, their brain are constantly learning. And when you
Yeah.
stop learning, that's when you die. So as we become adults, we stop learning on what to eat. We stop educating ourselves on that. So that
Mm-hmm.
part of our brain, not necessarily die, but technically dies. Oh, it is
Mm-hmm.
what it is. I'm gonna just eat this. I don't know
Yeah.
anything else. But the more you educate yourself on it, the more you become interested in it. The byproduct of that is weight loss.
Yes.
Okay, and now you're moving again. Now you got the brain going again. So we're going to educate you mentally. So now you intellectually strong, and with that in turn, you physically will be strong. So
I
that's why I came up with the hashtag rocked up. Like you have to be rocked up physically, mentally, and spiritually.
I love that, rocked up. I love that.
Hashtag
Everybody
rocked up.
hashtag,
Yep.
everybody
Yep.
hashtag rocked up. Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. And not only that, it gives you a visual, right? It
That's
get it get
correct.
it gives you a visual to move toward, because we are visual people. I
That's
remember
correct.
another woman we had on the show a while back. She talked about losing 40 for her 40th. Her 40th birthday was coming on. So that was a visual that she could move toward. And that's not to say, I like to lose 60 pounds in 60 months. Yeah, that's doable. But that visual of 40th for my 40th birthday, that takes you to a different place. And
That does.
whatever tool we can use, whatever tools we need to use to create the visual for us, to create the motivation for us, to make it real on the other side, and know that, Ken, that where we're going to be, even if we don't know exactly what it looks like, is
Right.
going to be better than where we are, right?
That's correct. That is
That
correct. And yeah, oh my goodness. And and most people don't want to get, too thin or too skinny. And I'm like, no, this is a healthy weight. Like you have to be at a healthy weight. Then what you want to do, you add on muscle from there, which takes longer, but get the fat, save your life first, right?
Yes.
Don't worry about those curves and all that other stuff. Get the fat off of you first so you can get the pressure off your knees. You can get the inflammation around your joints, and then you got the added weight on your joints. Now you think you got bad knees, but it's just what you eating and drinking,
Right.
okay? You'll be able to sleep better, right? Because you're not up all night in pain. In pain all night. And I'm not talking about pain where it's like you broke your arm, but your body is physically in pain on the
Yes.
inside, right?
Yes.
And that causes physical stress in the
Yes.
inside, what increases cortisol, the inflammation. I mean, it just repeats itself.
Yes.
And we're doing it to ourselves.
Yes. Yes. Ken, we're getting close to the end of our time, but I do want to share this with you. In my program is brand new, but the D in my program is drink, sleep, and write. And I talk about how
I like that.
I not DSW, not the shoes, right?
I got you.
But what I talk about is that in years past, I would never drink all the water I was supposed to drink. I would never get all the sleep I was supposed to get. And I wouldn't write what I was supposed to write. I would just immediately go to what can I eat and how much of it can I have? And I never realized that by getting all the water, getting hydrated,
That's correct.
getting the sleep, and writing makes it easier to follow the food. It makes it,
That's correct.
Your body needs all of that to repair itself.
Yeah. And you kept your brain in motion.
And yes. And so, I mean, that was, and then I just like zeroed in on the writing, right? I mean, that just became a powerful, powerful tool to do everything else. And the thing that's so, overlooked, that once we get really clear on the story, get that crystal clear, get crystal clear on the emotions that we attach to food, and we do that by writing, then it allows us to do the other things that we're supposed to do more easily. The very thing that you think is not important becomes the most important thing.
That is so correct when you write about your feelings, because most of the time it starts from childhood somewhere, and that we'll call it no bad parts, okay? That part of your childhood life, and that mindset is protecting the adult.
Yes.
Okay, it's protecting that adult, and the way we go battle it back and forth, we just try to comfort that child.
Yes. Yeah. Oh
Okay,
my God.
that's all.
Yeah.
You're just comforting that child, and what we have to do, we have to talk to that child, say, hey, whatever pain body they're going through, whatever trauma that little child's suffering, the adult has to talk to that child. You have to talk like, look, it's okay, child. Everything is all right. And know that everything is okay so you can make better choices and don't have to comfort him because that or her.
And that food is not the way to do it. Right.
Correct.
And food is not the way to do it. We just did another show before yours. Well, last week, I guess. And I said, the thing that I am really intentional about is not saying relationship with food. And I say that because, this is about the relationship that we have with ourselves and other people. We manage food. Manage food.
Yes.
And when we give food superpowers and we look to food for emotional support, we get in trouble. Relationships are what we have with people, right? So when you go out to dinner and you don't have dessert, right? Because you feel strong in yourself. No, I don't want it. I don't need it. Then you raise the level of consciousness at the table because everybody else says, I wish I have your willpower. I wish I had your self-discipline. And it doesn't have anything to do with that. You don't have any desire for what that's going to produce in your life. I don't even want it. If I don't want it, I don't have to use willpower, right? I don't have to use
some people. That's right. But that some people feel left out when they don't have dessert or when they don't have cake. They feel people shame them. It's not the other way around. It's never the other way around. And I try to tell so many of my clients that it's never the other way around. You will never make fun of nobody, but they will tease you, poke fun at you. And what it is envy. Like you said, they don't have that willpower, but also it's they don't know how good you feel. Forget the willpower. If they knew how good you felt, they would make those changes too.
Oh, that's some truth. And you know what? I want everybody to know how good we all feel. I want
That's right.
everybody to know how it feels on the other side, because there's some power in that. When you have that good feeling on the other side, then that shows up in every other area of
Everything.
your life.
Yes.
And this
Yes.
obesity thing is robbing us of that. It's robbing us of that power. It's robbing us of that confidence. It's robbing us of our ability to be all that we can be, and it's robbing us of our gifts just because we don't feel good.
I mean,
Oh
people
man,
get upset all the time when I say, COVID showed that. They be like, oh, well, I'm like, no, they said underlying conditions. These underlying conditions fall under obesity, period. I mean, you don't get, I didn't write this. I'm not
right,
the doctor. I'm just
right,
following the guidelines that our doctors and primary care physicians, whoever you go see, tell us all the time. And
yeah,
that was the cause of that. Saw it. So right then and there, your health is the most important thing in the world that you have. Your
absolutely,
health. Money couldn't
absolutely,
stop none of this.
none of it, none. And
None
so
of it.
you said stop. Oh my God, Ken, it's been a great conversation. We got to stop. We're running over, but I do. You got to come back. We got to continue the conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to tell people how to find you, and we're gonna make sure
So
that
you
people
could
can connect with you if they want to.
you can just find me on Facebook. I'm old school. I keep it real simple, one social media at a time at Kenneth Clemons. KENNETHCLEMONS. Look for the profile picture with the Ferrari in the back.
Oh, Ken, thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure and delight to talk to you tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank